Bulls did not have enough tonight. They did not have enough. The Bulls did not execute. They didn't play great on defense. They didn't play great on offense either. The fact that the Bulls even had a chance to win the game down the stretch and then push it to overtime as well was surprising considering the way that the game went. I will say this: there's something to definitely how the Bulls are being refed. Uh, Even the fact that down the stretch when the ball was clearly off Trent's knee, and the main ref said no, it forced them to use a challenge. It just seems silly, but the Bulls didn't do enough to win this game. Period. Point blank. That's what it boils down to. And yes, they were in it down the stretch, but when you get only 15 minutes from Zach, 10 of those coming in the fourth quarter, Vooch had a great game. I hate that it sucks that we wasted a great game from Vooch. 30 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. But Bulls make 17 turnovers in this game. That's just not going to cut it. It's not going to get it done. They got outworked on rebounding as well. This game really highlights why they need a defender and a rebounder at the 4. Players try to step in and do what they can. Javonte Green gave us good minutes. Every starter was in double digits. Kobe White, who didn't have the best first half, came in with 16 points off the bench. Only 5 other bench points, and all 5 of those coming from Troy Brown Jr. And that's what this game was. It was just this was a weird game. Between like not many fans being in the arena, add into that just how sloppy the game was early on. This was just a weird game, and the Bulls did not come out on the right side of it. Io did make a mistake. One thing I've been saying is that Io does make rookie mistakes. He does, and he's a rookie. He's supposed to make those mistakes. Scotty Barnes is the rookie of the year, though. Like that, just period. Io's turnover cost us the OT, no cap, but he played well beside that in the last minute. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What else? I can't fucking stand this team, man. Hey, listen, it's gonna happen. The losses are gonna happen. Y'all mad at this L? Not mad at this L from Ahmed. Yeah, I mean, I'm mad just because they didn't play the best. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Zach LaVine in the playoffs will be an experience, is all I can say. That I get what you're coming from with that. I definitely get. I can understand that. Just being fair, you got to understand, and I get where you're coming from. It's Zach has to tighten up. A lot of people have to tighten up, right? But yeah. Jonathan, all the Vooch haters piss me off. How the hell are we gonna get a better big man than him? He has no power forward to help him. Way to step up, big man. That's a great point as well. And that's something that I think people forget. He doesn't really have a true power forward next to him and hasn't for the most part of the season. First OT of the season, Iowa with rookie mistakes in overtime, but that's understandable. Yeah, he did make a rookie mistake. It is what it is. So many open threes for Zach at the end of the game, but DeMar said no. That, and then there were also some times where Iowa was open and he made pass that then took time off the shot clock. There are a lot of things in this game. High energy game, offensive rebounds are so important in tight games. On to the next one. All you can do, trade Javonte Green once Caruso approved. Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I would. Javonte's energy out there is amazing. It's amazing. I would not say trade Javonte Green at all. If anything, once we get a power forward, Javonte moves to the bench. You don't have to play Troy Brown Jr. anymore. I am not on the trade Javonte Green bandwagon at all. Good game overall, but yeah, you're right. We need a big bad. Javonte was doing so much defensively too. We would have not gotten this far into the game without him. That is a fact. That is a fact. Zach didn't try to step up in overtime. I know he's hurt, but that's not elite. That's the thing, though. That's the thing, is that you're saying that he's hurt. Zach has stepped up more games than not when we needed him. And that's even with DeMar, what he usually does in the fourth quarter. Zach, a player who originally they were saying they may not even play in this game, to come in and give us 10 points, 10 key points in the fourth quarter. I can't say that I know you're saying specifically in overtime he didn't step up, but it was a bad overtime from the team overall, in my opinion. This may sound crazy, but I hope more teams defend us like that throughout the game. We need to get used to pressure because the playoffs I agree with that. Scotty's good, but hell no, Mobley is by far the rookie of the year. Granted, too, I'm prisoner of the moment. I've admitted that I can be a prisoner of the moment sometimes. Let's see. The greatest, great point. 17 turnovers while you're also giving up a bunch of offensive rebound. That's not going to cut it. It's just not. One or the other you can kind of overcome. Both of them is going to be difficult for a lot of teams to overcome that. A lot of teams to overcome that. It's just not going to be possible. Let's see. Let's see what else we got. Damn, it's crazy how when the Bulls lose, y'all act like it's the end of the world. Y'all still blaming this is Mar and Zach. Listen, no, this is the thing. 9 times out of 10, they will be blaming Vooch, right? No matter how good Vooch did. But Vooch did so good in this game in both halves, right? A lot of times Vooch has a down half and has a better half. He did so good throughout this game. People can't blame Vooch. So it's like, all right, let's blame everybody else. Listen, everybody, he meant Mobley. Come on, man. Everybody knows he meant Mobley. Landon, thank you for supporting the channel at this level, my brother. To be fair, I bet $50 they win. They were down 9 and it should have been paid 275, but no, I guess I can give up a little more. Hey, listen, this is why I don't bet. I don't bet. Julie in the building. There were a few costly possessions that cost the game in regulation. For example, when Scotty Barnes bullied everybody underneath and made that second chance shot to tie the game and send it into overtime. That is a good point. Like the Bulls could have easily won that game had they got that rebound, right? That's it. That one rebound completely changed the outlook of this game because the Bulls came marching back and did hit a shot with not much time left to try to seal the game. But yeah, Scotty Barnes with a big shot for sure. Jay Will, we need size. That's what she said. That's what she said. So many bandwagoners and fair weather Burger King fans. Trades or band-aids after rebuilds like this. Need time together. Takes time. Need to. Well, okay, yes and no. I get what you're saying a little bit, Joseph, but it's not just a band-aid. The Bulls have a clear need. Now, it would be different if Patrick Williams was healthy. I think that wouldn't be. But the Bulls do have a clear need that they do need to fill on this team. That's just period. That's not just fair weather or bandwagon jumping fans. It's not just no matter how long they play together, that's not going to overcome some of the things that they get in trouble with size. It's just not going to change that. But I get what you're saying. A lot of bandwagon fans, especially fair weather fans, the moment that this lost, Bulls will win 2 in a row, everything will change. That's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Just as a basketball fan, this game was really fun, physical as fuck. Listen, I wouldn't. It was a sloppy game. I wouldn't, but it was a fun game to watch for sure. Especially like if you're somebody who was watching this game and wasn't a fan of either team, didn't have an emotional investment. I could definitely see that too as well. Vooch was our best player today. Absolutely, absolutely. See, it's these type of comments where it's like, what do those two things? And Kobe didn't stink it up. Kobe White, 6 for 15, 4-8 from 3 with 16 points off the bench. That's not stinking it up. And what does Kobe have to do with us needing the big? Like, yeah, come on, man. Come on. This I actually agree with JJ Ortiz. Zach is out here playing with you. Zach shouldn't have played in this game, and that got more evident as the game went on. When the game first started, it was looking like okay, but yeah, Zach probably should have set this game out. And if the Bulls lost, they would have lost. But I mean, kind of is what it is. There, hindsight. Now he may sit out. He may sit out tomorrow against Indiana. He may very well sit out against tomorrow Indiana. I can say one thing: they played a great game tonight, though. But this was one I counted for a loss. So good game, Bulls. I wouldn't say good game, Bulls, but I get what you're saying with that. Dad in the building. I bought 3 points, gave me 7.5 points. Sweaty bloke. This channel relaxes me. I get high tempered. I hate Toronto and Milwaukee. Oh, don't I don't see that's the thing. Just like I say, Raptors fans have become or act just like Drake's fan base. They don't really. It's not the Raptors or Drake himself. It's their fan base that just pisses me off. But it is what it is. Let's see. If Vooch get hurt, we have no one else to rebound. Ugh. Oh, I said coming into the season, Vooch was the one player that we couldn't really afford to miss. When he went down with COVID, I think that was evident. Like we just don't have a replacement for Vooch at all, at all. Looks like some of y'all getting a little testy in the comments. Io had some good looks, but decided to drive and kick out. He needed to shoot more. And see, this is the thing. When when he hit the two clutch shots, he came afterwards in the clutch. It was like, that's just the way I play. That's the way I learned the game. I haven't been afraid to shoot the goddamn shots, Io. But granted, it's a rookie. I don't think that we have this issue from Io probably even by the end of the season. This run as a starter is really doing a lot for him. But Io absolutely, when it gets tough, and especially if he'll take a couple, but if he misses those, then he's going to pass out of everything from that point on. And that's one thing that we're seeing with Io consistently. All right, let's see what else we got. No, see, keep no, and this is what people when they lose context and they make idiot. I never said resting our players were overprotective. I said specifically to a comment about Zach. Oh, well, he's looked like he's playing tough. We should rest him a couple. That was being overprotective. Learn context. If you're gonna quote me correctly. Do it correctly. Well, Haize, I was right about Vooch. He needed a big game, but we came up short. But I had this one down as a loss. I don't know about Zach. Yeah, Zach definitely. It's seeing him play this game. It's not the knee. This isn't an issue with the knee. It doesn't seem like. I think those back spasms are bothering him a little bit more. I think it's the bullshit on Twitter when the fans act like they're the greatest team, bro. Shut the fuck up. You 10th in the East. Well, they're eighth now, right? They're eighth in the East, but I feel you. Haize, honestly, do you consider us the top two team in the East? If not, what do we need to do? No, I think I've been saying it before. Fully healthy, especially. If Patrick Williams had never went down and he had gotten a chance to got himself in rhythm and then like just be around this type of team, I would, yeah, definitely. But we're not. Again, relative health is all you can ask for after the season starts. I hate to say it, and I don't get into trade talk, but damn, we're getting killed and rebounded. Yes, we are for sure. Man, I wish Simonovic was closer to ready, drafted just after Io and looking like he'll be a thought. No, again, so this is another overreaction, Jonathan. And just to be fair here, Simonovic was never supposed to be like everybody who comes from Europe isn't automatically ready. And when you have seen him play, he's not ready. He needs to add in, I think more so than even the speed of the game, he gets bodied as a big. And he needs that full summer in an NBA regimen to really add. I really do think coming into the beginning of next preseason, we're going to see a completely transformed Marko Simonovic and one who's ready for the rigors of NBA. But if Marco was contributing now, it's not. I don't even think it's a skill thing. I think it's just strictly his body, and the game is probably a little bit too fast for him. But it's too much to call him Thon Maker when he hasn't even played NBA games for real, outside of it being once because our roster was completely depleted. So Marco's only played in garbage time. So come on. Well, what does Tony Bradley do to replace Vooch? Come on. Cook was absolutely bad today. He was absolutely bad today. Terrible. Terrible. And then the thing is, Tony Bradley came in and immediately gave us some energy and some good energy on a couple, 2 or 3 possessions. And then the next 3 possessions after that, he did dumb shit after dumb shit after dumb shit. There was that one where he should have had that rebound, and they literally, like, it's like the Raptors player walked up behind him and just took it, and Tony Bradley was just like, wait, what happened? Which way did he go? Which way did he go? That was like, it's Tony Bradley, such a frustrating player. Such a frustrating player. This is the big one. How do you think we'll match up against the Sun? I don't know, bro. I really don't know, man, Alex. The thing is that with the Bulls, like, things could take such drastic turns from game to game sometime. Since people being out, like, Tyler Cook was bad today. We can get a completely different look at Tyler Cook. Zach only scored 15 points. How often does that happen? Not very often this season. So it really depends on what version of the players that we get. Because I'll tell you what, when Tyler Cook is playing with some big energy, I can say that I can see him having a very important game for us. Tony Bradley too, if he's locked in. But we have very inconsistent players, right? And that's what works. That's what hurts us in some of these chants. I think Io's playing like young Kawhi did in San Antonio. He didn't want to step on toes until the coach. I don't even necessarily know if it's a toes thing anymore. I really do think Io, he doesn't want to be the reason we lose. And I guarantee you that mistake he made at the end of the game is going to kill him, and it's going to be in his head for the rest of the night and probably into tomorrow. We may see Io have one of his best games tomorrow, especially if Zach LaVine doesn't play, because I guarantee he's beating himself up about that mistake. But it's just a rookie thing. It's just a rookie thing. This is the difference between Io and Lonzo in clutch situations. Lonzo will shoot the ball. Io is a rookie. That's what I've been saying. The thing with Lonzo is that Lonzo, no matter what, Lonzo can miss 22 shots. 22 shots. You get him an open one, he's going to take the 23rd one very confidently. So for sure. BD Shepard, I'm going to read this just for context. The first 2 championship teams had 5 guys 16 or taller and 6'8" who play big. We need, again, but this is a completely different brand of basketball. So comparing, that's completely different eras. Completely different eras. So that, while I get what you're getting at with that, it really doesn't hold as much weight as you think it does. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner, just because the game is played completely different. You don't need that many bigs anymore. And it's not necessarily about height anymore. As much as we talk about height, it's not necessarily about height. It's about what you can do. It's more about length than anything. And Javonte Green does get outworked. It's not about height. So that focus on height, especially when you're talking about that former era, really doesn't hold much as you think it does in this day and age. Again, I don't think it happens via trade. I just don't see that. I don't see the Nets trading him. They need to buy him out. They need to buy him out. Yes, Cook barely had any play minutes, but they pulled him out because he was playing bad. Well, I think he only played 3 or 4 minutes today. 3 minutes from Tyler Cook today. But God knows Tyler Cook did not play good in those 3 minutes at all. Now, I did expect him to get back in, maybe sit down for a while, get back in, but it just didn't happen. I can't say that I've seen those reports. I've seen rumors. I haven't seen any reports, but I've also seen reports that the fact that they held on to that 6 to 8 week time period, because they initially give that before the doctor gets in there to look at the knee. So then the fact that they maintained it after surgery is honestly more of a bad sign. Those are the things I read. I didn't read anything that he could be back beforehand. Raptors are a well coached team too. Let's not. Nick Nurse is a good coach. That is for sure. That is for sure. No, he stops at 21. I must have missed something. Must have missed something. Yes, players absolutely do stand on double team. Well, and in this game, I will say there were times where I feel like, right, I'm gonna shoot a couple players some bail. I feel like there were times where Io was standing around on a double team, but that's because his man's the one that rotated off. There were times where Io was wide open and they did not get the ball to him. Now, other times it was a twofold thing. There were times where a player was wide open and their man had rotated so far off of them that had DeMar or Zach been able to make that pass, that Iowa would have had a wide open shot. And I think Troy Brown Jr. was open on a couple as well. But then there were times too that players was just watching around, standing around watching. So yeah, both things happened today. Listen, that rebound that he jumped and literally all he had to do was stand still, he would have had the rebound. That was frustrating. That was definitely frustrating. This I agree with. I definitely agree with this, Laxi. Stacey says the Bulls always want to make a play before catching the ball. I agree with that, and I saw that this game with Tyler Cook. Now, and more than just the Tyler Cook rebounding tip, if you look at some of the Bulls' turnovers, they see a lane, right? They see a lane, and they start moving before they have the ball secured. Io did it. Troy Brown Jr. did it a couple of times. Kobe did it about 5 times in this game. And it definitely it allows and they fumble the ball, so then it is either a turnover or it allows the other team that extra split second to rotate, and it changes the defense, and it goes from having an open lane to now the man standing right in front of you. So definitely things like that happen. This game was heavily contested, but I do think refs were inconsistent in their calls. There were more fouls than were called. Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, we've been officiated weird all season. Period. We've been officiated like that. But keep in mind, the NBA is trying to change how they call fouls, and we are one of the teams that's getting hurt by that a lot. Just a little fact for all of you: most of the NBA plans their defensive strategy on double teaming Zach and DeMar because they know it's more likely to eat clock and force a shot from ISO. That's with that's anybody though. That's any team. That's literally the point of doubling down. You think Zach should sit the All-Star game? No, not at all. That's an honor. I don't think he should sit the All-Star game now. Probably not. And nobody really plays heavy minutes in the All-Star game either. So, Brendan, I would say that your frustration is placed a little incorrectly there. Kobe, this was not a bad game from Kobe at all. Again, let me go back to Kobe's stat line: 6 for 15, which isn't a terrible percentage. 4 from 8, 16 points. All but 7 of our bench points came from Kobe White today. Period. And like I've been saying, there's not been a team to ever make a significant run. So, hey, even if you're saying replace Kobe for a power forward in the starting, what do you do with bench? You still need bench scoring. And without bench scoring, I don't care who you get at power forward. You can have the best starting line in the league. If you don't have a bench that can score in the playoffs, you're going to fail. You're going to fail, period. Zach Lasagna, do you think Kobe will keep being inconsistent? Yes. Yes. Kobe will keep being inconsistent. As a scorer, yes, he's going to keep being inconsistent. The difference is that Kobe is starting to do other things on the court. He didn't do as much of it this game, admittedly, but other things on the court that even when the shot isn't falling, you still like having him out there. 2 turnovers for him is not going to get it done. The 2 assists, not going to get it done. Only 1 rebound. He's been doing better than that. I would normally say that's not a worry. On most teams, it's not a worry if your guard only has 1 rebound. But on this team and what he's been showing before, weak side defense wasn't there. He made some head that just terrible plays as well. I'm not going to excuse Kobe in this game. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what we're used to seeing Kobe being able to do in the other aspects of his game. I would tell you this: go and look at the advanced analytics of that, because that's wrong. That's wrong. Kobe is not why. I think you're talking about historically. Go and look at Kobe's defense ratings. Go and look at this. Go and look at his plus minuses. Go and look at it. I'll tell you this, and you may not be surprised by this, right? Kobe's one of our best statistically defenders off the bench, especially with Alex Caruso and Io being in the starting lineup. And statistically, with the advanced stats, he's been better than Zach LaVine defensively. Just saying. Just saying. I think Jacoby White has become a center thing for people to point in, just like with Vooch. Like I said, when you can't blame it on Vooch, people go to Kobe, and it wasn't necessarily that. Do you believe tomorrow is a must? No, it's too early in the season for anything to be a must win. So it is what it is. Haize, I gotta go. Some of the people in this comment section are oblivious. Have a good night, fam. Good night, JJ, man. Good night, brother. Until everyone comes back healthy, the bench will be lacking. Next year, the bench will have Drummond. No, what? Okay, this is not 2K. We're not going to talk about what we have. We don't even know what the Bulls are going to end with this season. Kobe defense has been better as of late. Y'all haters been watching the game. Some Bulls fans are just assholes. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Zach looked like he was in extreme discomfort when he was answering post-game questions just now. He really needs to sit out tomorrow. Oh, best believe, I fully expect Zach LaVine not to play tomorrow. I fully expect it. And what are you going to get back for it? Like, this is the thing. People just say trade people that you don't like, and it's not going to happen. And again, Kobe definitely doesn't. Unless you're getting another bench scorer in there with him, no. Again, that you're shooting your torpedo anything that happens in the postseason. Kobe is actually pretty solid. He's getting better. Like, he needed to see players like Caruso Zoe to take a step up. I mean, think about it this way. Kobe was playing out of position. That's one thing that we saw. Kobe was playing out. He's not supposed to be a point guard. Kobe coming in now, being able to play with some freedom, not necessarily being needed to score, right? It's definitely helping this game, and he's improving as well. And let's not forget the just the team around him now, the better team around him, having DeMar there, the coaching staff really taking him under his wing, Mo Cheeks, and what he's done to Kobe's development, all that stuff. This is on Donovan. Last 2 minutes of OT. Raps already double teamed DeMar. Mid court should have had plays. I see what you mean with that, but no. Javier, Troy Brown Jr. is solid at times. He has solid stretches of being solid. Overall, no. Troy Brown Jr. is not going to be on the Bulls next year. That's one thing I'm willing to guarantee. Troy Brown Jr. is not going to be on the Bulls roster tomorrow. Period. Bulls should use tomorrow to rest some players. Lost game anyway. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Yes. What do you mean? Do you consider he's played power forward and center his whole career? Yes, he's big. Again, it's not about height. When people focus too much on that, the biggest thing for us is we need rebounding, and we don't have to trade for that. There will be a lot of good players. Well, the thing is, people say that, right? I looked at it. By this time last season, people had started being bought out. It's not happening yet. So, while I do expect people are going to get bought out, absolutely. But man, the what AK and Eversley may not risk it. Like if somebody isn't bought out, like on before trade deadline day, the front office may figure out something else. Again, this is not true. How does he not fit the window? He's young. He fits exactly the window. He gives you exactly what you need from a bench scorer. That's you trying to make the scenario fit your predetermined thing that Kobe has to go, and that's just not logical. It's not at all. Kobe absolutely. You have matching capabilities, so you can match any contract he has, so you don't have to fear losing him, right? Again, the Bulls can add what they need through Patrick Williams coming back, having a mid-level exception, also veteran minimum players that want a ring chase. To say that Kobe doesn't fit that window is just idiotic, period. It's just idiotic. It's not realistic at all. That's you trying to make that fit a predetermined narrative that you have. I feel like the week before the All-Star week will be ideal for Zach to rest. Very well could be. Very well could be. Most of the only thing about trade talk is first they said the player they want to trade is trash, and then expect teams to give us a star for said player. Man, listen, that's crazy. But it's true. You're very true with that. He's a decent defender and hustler in theory. It's much like how Denzel Valentine was supposed to be a 3D player that didn't shoot the three consistently or consistently give you any defense. Troy Brown Jr. gives you flashes of being a really solid defender, and you can work yourself into thinking, oh, this is how he plays overall, and it's just not. He has the makeup to be a solid three player and a good shooter. He has the ability to, in stretches, he's shown it, but he hasn't put it all together. So no, Troy Brown Jr. is not going. He's not going to be on this team next season. Anybody who's betting on Troy Brown Jr. being a Bull long term, you give that up. Troy Brown Jr. is not going to be a Bull any past if it's even past the trade deadline. But definitely going into next season, Troy Brown Jr. will not be on the Bulls roster. Millar Miller Tibbs runs his players into the ground. Oh, so well, he's not the only reason for ACL. I did miss that question. Would you rather have Tibbs coaching this team or Billy Donovan coach? Listen. Do I think Tibbs would have this team playing better defense? But keep in mind, when we were fully healthy, Billy Donovan had us in the top 5 in defense. So no, I think I would rather have this team because yeah, absolutely. We already see DeMar playing 37 minutes a game at times. Tibbs would have yes, no, not gonna happen. Because Alfonso McKinney sucks. Alfonso McKinney had one good game as a Bull and one solid shooting stretch in garbage time. Alfonso McKinney's PER is 7, less than 7. It's actually 6.96. Alfonso McKinney, if you take away the Rockets game and the game in which he shot effectively in garbage time, Alfonso McKinney is shooting 25% overall from the field. Alfonso McKinney should not be getting any minutes on this team, period. Yeah, these bandwagon fans who just started watching the Bulls games this season saying Kobe doesn't fit the window shows how little they know. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a good question from Reginald Shore. What do you think is Derrick Jones' potential? I really do think, and we've seen it, like, right? Pick and roll with Lonzo became dangerous when we needed it to, when we were missing DeMar and Zach. He can shoot the ball sometimes. I think his potential is being a great, and he was projected at some point to be a starter, and maybe on some rosters he could be a starter. But I think Derrick Jones Jr. is one of those players that you end up just loving having on the bench because he can do a little bit of everything. He can play anywhere between. Keep in mind, we haven't seen it, but Derrick Jones Jr. can play the 2 through the 4, and we've seen him on this team play the 5. You don't and he's solid on offense. Again, I don't know if he's a player that will get you double digits right on this team. I know he has before, but to me, Derrick Jones Jr. projects to be kind of like how I'm trying to think. What can I compare it to? I really don't know what to compare him to. I don't really like doing player comps, but he projects to be a really solid player off the bench for sure. Some people act as if they were Daryl Morey sending 3 or 4 bad players for a star like he did with Harden and Howard. That's not realistic. That's for sure. What do you think we should do about our rebounding problem, Haize? I mean, we've talked about it. The Bulls need to get a rebounding power forward, ideally. Whether that's through buyout, whether that's through trade some of your, if you can convince the team to take some of your back. And again, keep in mind, if the Bulls do trade for a power forward and they use Troy Brown Jr. for it, it is a win-win in some ways, depending on what the team is. Because if he goes to a team that has time to invest in him and says, "Hey, we're in rebound, we can take a 2-year look at Troy Brown Jr." Hey. Do you think we jumped the gun signing Alfonso McKinney? Yes, absolutely, I do. Absolutely. But it was a low risk because he took the roster spot from Alize Johnson, who wasn't giving you anything. So, yes, they did jump the gun, but it was a calculated risk because even after that, yeah, I think at that point he had played 2 or 3 games for the Bulls. At that point, you say, hey, look at what this player was able to do for us. We've given Alize some time. We've seen Alize in practice all season, so we know Alize is not it for us. Let's go ahead and give Alfonso a shot. Yes, they signed him to a deal, but it's one of those deals where if you have to cut him, it's not a huge cap risk or anything like that. So yeah, they jumped the gun, but it was a calculated risk. And if they need to open up a roster spot for a trade or something like that, and the other team doesn't want to include him, you can easily cut it and not be a huge financial burden on the team. So it was a low risk, high potential reward, but it just didn't happen. Well, keep in mind, Javonte Green is 28 years old. He's not young like Lonzo was. But Javonte Green can hit an open three. Javonte is he's relied on to do so much, right? Because he's in the starting lineup. But Javonte Green would be a perfect player coming off the bench because he can do a little bit of everything. He gives you energy, he gives you defense, he gives you some shooting. It's not consistent, but it is what it is. You miss Alize? Why? Alize was terrible too. Like it's literally, that Spider-Man meme. Alfonso and Alize, other than not looking anything like, literally can be pointing at each other as far as their output. They're both fucking terrible. It doesn't matter. Reginald Short. My only regret is signing what is it? McKinney instead of Stanley. Another reason to hate LA. That's hindsight though, right? That's hindsight. And it's not like he's making them really win any more games. He's playing good, and shout out to him for getting that deal. But yeah, it kind of is what it is. I actually agree with this. We didn't give Stanley a real chance. We decided on Matt Thomas over him. Then when we brought him back, I think what he went into COVID protocol. So it's actually not the Bulls' fault because when we did bring Stanley Johnson back, I think he entered protocols immediately, and then we got Alfonso McKinney. So yeah, I get it, but it is what it is. You really just realized that? You must be a fairly, and I don't mean that as a slight, like, because you're here all the time. So I know you actually care about the team, but you have to be a new Bulls fan because that's literally something in Bulls fan for at least 3 to 5 years. Bulls players just wouldn't, I mean, Bulls fans wouldn't stop talking about that. Like, literally would have nothing to do with it. And Bulls fans would be talking about that. Haize, aren't you surprised Shay isn't in here telling you I told you about Vooch in February? Listen, I'm telling you right now, Shay is somewhere. Fuck the Bulls lost. He's somewhere taking bottles of champagne to the head because he told us so about that. I feel like we were too hard on bench players. The role isn't to get us 30 points. The role is to get us five. No, but it's not just about points. It's not just about points. Let's be clear. It's not just about points. I don't give a damn what Troy Brown Jr. gives us. I want him to hit open shots, but I don't really care what he averages point wise. He makes so many lapses on the defensive end. Go back and look at it. Go back and look at it. So no, Troy Brown does not give us anything consistently worth a damn. Anything consistently worth a damn. Paul Zipser, who we're high on, who would you say has been the worst Bulls player ever? Oh man, the Bulls have had some bad players, man. So I don't know if I would even say Bradley. Like, yeah, Bradley's bad, but no, Bulls have had some like Felicia. I wouldn't give Felicio over Bradley. Like no, he's terrible. Listen, I keep telling y'all this. I don't have sources at all. I'm just somebody who reads everything. So no, I have no idea, man. I don't know. No, Ashik was good for us for a stretch. Like, yeah, not consistently, but there were absolutely some games we wouldn't have been in if it wasn't for Omar Ashik. Ballhawks, hey, did you get my text back to you, brother? Because you didn't respond. How you gonna text me and then when I respond to you, you not text me back? But anyway, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Hey, somewhere Mike Tony is smiling. I'm gonna take the D out of Billy Donovan. Tell Petty Rose what's up. I wouldn't take it because again, when we were fully healthy, Billy Donovan had us in the top 5 in defense in the league. And keep in mind, a team last year that should have been terrible defensively was ranked 12th in the league defensively. So no, I wouldn't do that. Do 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 do. As I was thinking, Houston. Never mind. Oh yeah, he was bad on Houston. He was definitely bad. Do you think Acme should trade that number 4 pick in 2020 to at least get the 10 pick? At least one round down the draft, select people. Is that realistic? Listen, I'm not going to get in woulda, coulda, shouldas. I'm not, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's not going to change anything. Ashik was a good player, especially coming. Yes, he was for the 2 years we had him for sure. No, I wouldn't say Garrett Temple either. Garrett Temple was pretty solid for us, especially with a young team that. I mean, if there were a stretch there where Thad Young and Garrett Temple were our most consistent defenders. So no. Listen, Brian Scalabrine can't be the worst for the energy alone. Come on, White Mamba. Come on, man. No, no. Montrezl Harrell would be good, but that's definitely a trade. How much does it take to give up to get him? But he absolutely, his energy, his effort, he would be damn near perfect. Eric Murphy, you can blame Joe Kim Noah for that one. Remember how excited he was when the Bulls drafted him? No, I still wouldn't say that. No, I still wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that Carlos Boozer was the worst at all. People forget that Carlos Boozer did give us some very solid scoring. Didn't give us much else either. But no, I wouldn't say he was the worst player. Paul Zipser, who we're high on. We should try to buy out Dwight. We can't buy out a player that's not on our roster. Listen, Kurt Thomas would be. Y'all remember that quarter? Kurt Thomas scored 20 points in the quarter against Detroit. I believe it was in a game during the regular season. That was crazy. I remember that game like it was yesterday. Oh, Marcus Teague. Marcus Teague was the worst Bulls player by far. Couldn't even get on the court. Never mind, ass buy out other people's players. Listen, if that shit was that easy, man, come on. The good old days. Listen, I can sit here and reminisce about historical Bulls things all the time. Like I tell you, I've been a Bulls fan forever. So, man, Kurt Big Six. That was his nickname, wasn't it, man? Listen, but he was needed when we had him. He was absolutely needed on this team. Period. Period. So, but yeah, a player like Kurt Thomas would actually be pretty good for us right now. A player like Brad Miller, too, the year that we had him would be good. Mutombo, no, the Bulls made a trade. So we had J.R. Smith, but we immediately traded him to Denver. I can't remember who we traded him for, though. I can't remember what that was. Tony Snell consistently inconsistent. Tony Snell just always looks like, to this day, like Tony Snell just, his face always looks like, where am I? Like, wait a second, what? I'm in the NBA game? Wait, what? Where am I? I play for Milwaukee. What? What? Chicago? What? Hold on. Who am I? Like that looks like Tony Snell's face always looks like he's in Memento. Like he, if you guys ever saw the movie Memento, every time he wakes off, he's kind of discombobulated. That's Tony Snell's permanent life. Like he just never knows where he is. No. Off topic, you reckon D Rose would fit on this team off the bench? Oh, if we didn't have so many guards, oh yeah, he would give us the scoring we need off the. If Derrick Rose, because again, there was some talk about Derrick Rose coming here, and by the way, everything shook out. It looked like the Bulls, because we signed Caruso right after Derrick Rose announced he was going back to New York. If the Bulls had signed Derrick Rose, I have no doubt in my mind that Kobe would have been out of here. Like, because Derrick Rose brings you not the scoring that you need. He doesn't bring you the defense that Caruso does. I'm glad we have Caruso, but then you don't necessarily need a scorer off the bench. Wow. Tony Snell looks like he's been petrified from Harry Potter. Wow. That is fucking hilarious, but very accurate. Very accurate. Very accurate. Wait, look, Tony Snell is the Wiggins minus the athleticism? No. No. Minus the athleticism, minus the ability. Like, no. Tony Snell, to any point in Wiggins, you can chop off both the Wiggins legs, and Tony Snell still isn't half the player Wiggins is. Come on, man. No. Y'all really don't know how basketball works. Bulls can get Eric Gordon or Gary Harris for a first one. Okay. Hey, what first round pick do the Bulls have to trade? Secondly, that's not how it works. You have to match salaries. Come on, man. If y'all gonna offer up trade deals, the least you can do is try to use the trade machine. That's the very least that I'm still gonna make fun of you. Like, don't get me wrong. I still got jokes for that. But that's the least you can do. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm so happy that there's only 7 days left until the trade deadline, because I'm over it. Over it. Over it. All right, Laxus, I feel you, man. Whoa, wait a second. Bro, Tony Snell looked like a dog being showed the card trick on defense. Show. It was sad. Woo, that is terrible, man. That is terrible. Oh man. Tony Snell literally, bro. Like Tony Snell's face looks like an accident. Like he is literally the representation of every sin his parents committed ever. All his ancestors at that. Tony Snell looks like he was burnt, fried, and shitted out. That's what it is. Like, it's terrible. It is terrible. Like, y'all with these trade, that shit is terrible, man. Like Tony Snell is literally like the worst fears. If you wake up, like if somebody said that you wake up as the ugliest person in the world, there's only two people: Sam Cassell, and Tony Snell. That's it. Those are the two ugliest people in the world. Like, I like seriously. Back when I was in like middle school, we used to literally, and Kerry Kittles. If we told you that you look like Sam Cassell or Kerry Kittles growing up, you just knew you was ugly as shit. Like, that's the worst offense that you can give to somebody at all. All right, Jorge, we're not going to do dark skin slander. We can keep it on Tony Snell. We're not going to do dark skin slander. We're not going to do that. That's not what we do here. It's not what we do here. Why is that accurate though? That's exactly what he looks like. That is hilarious. Wow. 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 Oh man, that is hilarious, bro. Woo. Jesus, that is funny. Oh my Lord. Man, that is hilarious. I'm the captain now. Wow. Jesus, man. Would you rather have Snell or Alfonso? Oh, it's Alfonso just because I won't have to look at Tony Snell, man. Period. Tony Snell, man. Jesus. You remember when people were saying that he was going to be the next Luol Deng? Like there was literally people who would say that. There were like reports that were written. I can't remember who wrote the article, but I remember the article saying the Bulls are going to have to make a decision between Tony Snell and Luol Deng soon. Like of all motherfuckers, Tony Snell? Tony Snell? Man, come on, man. My cat was a better NBA player than Tony Snell. Man, listen. Ooh, Sam Cassell looks like an alien. Listen, well, okay, let's get this back on track. I know, listen. I know I talk so much shit about people that literally like there's oh my Jesus, man. Oh, basketball. All right, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about basketball. Here to talk about basketball. Was dumb enough to believe Snell was going to be the next day. Oh, listen. But do you remember? Oh, I can't remember the game. There was literally a game where who was Snell? I want to say it was Giannis. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Did we still have Tony Snell when Giannis was a rookie? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was not. Maybe it was Middleton. But there was a game where Tony Snell, probably his best defensive game in his career. I want to say it was Giannis. He didn't like shut him down or anything, but he played some really good defense. And motherfuckers were thinking, oh, he's finally going to put it together. Not going to happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Oh, man. If you had to choose between having a face like Deadpool or Tony Snell, you would hesitate before it. Absolutely. You got to think about it. You got to think about it. Because listen, at least if you look like a burn patient, you can get some sympathy. Ain't nobody giving Tony Snell no sympathy because the motherfucker just ugly. Like he's just ugly. And then all his teeth look sharp as shit too. Like literally, Tony Snell looks like he is half shark, half. I almost said something that got me canceled. But yeah, I'll let you guys figure out what I was about to say. Petty, petty, petty. So it was Giannis. Okay, I didn't know if I was tripping or not. Real star scream. Yeah, but Giannis had no handle or shot way back when that happened. Plus Butler was in his head at the time. Good point. All valid points. I just remember Snell guarded Giannis pretty well in the game, and people thought it was going to be something. Like, this is a good point, Jojo. Like, there has to be something to said about defenders that are good defenders because they're literally ugly as hell. Like, there has to be something to that. There has to be a ratio or something to that. Has to be, man. Has to be. We'll never know what you were gonna say. You used to always present me so. Oh shit. Oh man, listen. The shit that goes through my head that I know would instantly get me canceled. Like, trust. I'm surprised that my Trump comments earlier there wasn't a Trump supporter who literally started going off in the comments. But listen, what I was about to say about Tony Snell would literally, especially during Black History Month, the NAACP would have been in my ass. Like they would have literally, this whole channel would have been shut down. You would have came to the channel tomorrow. You remember how like when WWF first changed the name, when WWE first changed the name from WWF. And when you go to WWF.com and it'll take you to the wildlife website, you would come to this YouTube channel and it'll be NCAA, somebody sitting in the chair like, we're going to tell you why Haize got canceled. That's exactly what would have happened. Exactly what would have happened. Whew. Do you remember your opinion of Giannis when you first? So the first time I ever like paid attention to Giannis, I remember he was a rookie, and there was a picture of his hand. Like, I don't know if he was like a player who was scratching his face, and it was literally like, look at how big his hands are. And this shit, like, I had so many mitten jokes. Little did I know Giannis would turn into one of the best players in the NBA. But man. Turn the page. No, see, I'm not politically correct like that. No, I don't believe that. There are some. If everybody was beautiful, nobody would be beautiful. There are some ugly motherfuckers out here. There are ugly babies. There are ugly, and we need to acknowledge it. The reason why we can appreciate beauty is because of ugly motherfuckers like Tony Snell and Sam Cassell. They make us appreciate the attractive people in our lives. That's their purpose to be here. You look at when God made Tony Snell's face, there was literally the opposite end of that. Somebody out there is completely flawlessly beautiful only because Tony Snell is so ugly. Real talk. This is real talk. This is just real. This is real talk. We need to find out some famous beautiful person who was born the same day as Tony Snell because they got all the beautiful genes. So Tony Snell could be ugly, or Tony Snell got all the ugly genes so they can be beautiful. That's just the way that it happens. Tony Snell, Portland best defender. He makes sure to put his face close to the guy he's defending the force of match. If you had a choice of trade, that young Chris, I'm not getting it. Come on, Swami, you keep spamming it with that shit. Okay, I just saw a photo of Tony Snell. He got nice bone structure. What if Giannis decided he wanted to play Joel? Also, have you ever said, "Dear God, that's one ugly baby"? Oh, all the time. I'm a photographer. Listen, I'm a photographer. Let me not say first. I got hired for a photo shoot to do this for their baby. It was goddamn the ugliest baby I've ever seen in my life. Ugliest baby I've ever seen in my life. But the pictures turned out fire. But when I tell you that baby, man, that was an ugly ass baby. There's some ugly motherfuckers out there. Oh man, who's your league MVP right now? That is a good question. Oh man, listen, I love the way Embiid's been playing. I know people have been saying Giannis, but hell, Jokic may win back to back, man. Oh man. Woo. All right, that's it. I think we jumped the shark for tonight. That's it for the stream, my people. We're gonna go for 2 more minutes for you to guys get any comments in, anything else in. Oh man, Jesus, that is hilarious, man. Woo. I swear to God, if I wake up looking like Tony Snell tomorrow, man, I'm shutting this channel down. I swear to God. Oh, whew. Oh man. Woo. Woo, man, listen. Ball hawks. Damn, he's not the babies. Y'all that's going straight to hell with gas. Listen. Listen, there's some things that I know we don't say to be politically correct and to be thoughtful, but we have to acknowledge the ugly babies because that's how we can appreciate the pretty ones. There are some god ugly ass babies, man. Listen, and then I swear the people always know when they baby ugly too, even though they'll never admit it, because when they post it, listen, they don't even ask for people opinions. They just kind of post. They don't, because you know, when people post their pretty babies, like, oh, look at my baby, he's 3 months old today. I remember this. When people just post a picture and keep it moving, it's literally because they know, listen, I'm not even gonna make a big deal out of this. I know my baby ugly. We're not even gonna make a big deal out of this. Y'all see it? Let's keep it moving. Ooh, man. Oh man. Listen. All right. That's it tonight. Whew. I love you guys, man, so much. I love that y'all put up with my sense of humor. I know I'm crazy as shit. Listen, I understand and know that I'm crazy. I know it fully. And y'all embrace me for it either way. Y'all embrace me for it, man. I appreciate y'all greatly, because there's not a lot of people who can be sitting here on a basketball chat talking about ugly ass babies, man. It's just not that many people. Woo, that shit is hilarious, man. That shit is hilarious. Ugly ass babies. How did we get to talking about that on the Bulls channel? I don't know, but we did it. But make sure you guys are following the podcast at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at, what is the number for the voicemail? What is the goddamn number? 773-270-2799. Like I like to end everything on, man. Go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace.